Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is one of our youngest guests, Vishaal Krishan. Vishal, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here. So let's start with who is Vishal?
I have to say that I'm an achiever. In every aspect of my life, whether it's professional or personal, I'm sort of looking for that next step to go. So whether it's, at school or in work or any extracurricular, I'm kind of looking for that next step to take what I have to another level. For me, it's not so much about, getting those results, but more so the journey to get there. So the people that I meet along the way, the work that we do, the people we impact, and I think I'm just kind of looking for that way to have a growing impact in the world, whether that's on a small level like my community, on a national level, an international level, really just getting that chance to achieve that next goal, get to that next step. On a more personal level, I say I'm sort of an adrenaline junkie. I love doing things that are exciting, whether that's, zip lining or hopefully going skydiving in the future, river rafting. I really enjoy doing those kinds of extreme sports that give me some sort of thrill, especially when I'm doing it with family members or friends. It's a really great bonding activity.
Yes.
And I also just feel like it makes me more excited. Whatever I'm doing, it gives me that sort of rush that I sort of crave. Especially gives me that extra energy that I need, whether I'm doing work after that or whether I'm traveling across the globe. It's something that I really seek for.
We should have done this on a river rafting course, right?
Exactly, yep.
Maybe we should cut this and go do that.
Let's go right there. You know what? Maybe on a plane in the air.
Well, what I have to appreciate, and we haven't even started yet, is there's a lot of wisdom there with that age. So
Thank you.
Kudos to you. Let's talk about Debate for All. You started something with a group of your friends. Tell us what you're doing and why you're doing this.
Yeah, so Debate for All is an organization that I started my freshman year. So for a little bit of context, I started doing debate in 6th grade. My school had a really great debate program at the time, and I went to a private middle school. But when I got into debate, I fell in love with it. I found my passion, and whether that was kind of analyzing newspaper articles to build evidence or getting up on a stage and doing competitive speech and debate in front of hundreds of people, I really found my passion for it. It was over COVID when I started high school during freshman year. Everything was online, but I started attending a public high school. And when I got there and I started meeting new people, talking to people that went to public middle schools or even private middle schools in other areas, I found that most schools, especially middle schools or those in less affluent areas, they didn't have strong public speaking or debate programs or any at all really. And what I found was that for me, I'd seen the benefits firsthand about how debate had improved my critical thinking skills, improved my test scores, my academics, and most importantly, my confidence. I was really able to speak to anyone and everyone, no matter what age group and whatever setting. And I realized that that's a skill that so many students need, especially in today's society when youth in our country need to be able to advocate for themselves. And so what I did was I founded Debate for All, and our mission is to provide students, parents, and educators with accessible resources to public speaking and debate. And we've done that in a variety of different ways. So when we first started off, we focused our efforts on kind of getting programs started at schools, and we continue to do that today. But we wanted to get programs in debate and public speaking started at middle schools and high schools. And we've had success with that. But recently, especially this past year, going through a few struggles, we kind of shifted our narrative to really bringing awareness and giving students resources. So we created a social media brand across a number of platforms that provides resources on debate and public speaking, teaching materials, information about the benefits of debate, workshops and webinars alike. For us students, parents, and educators to get that sort of information on debate and public speaking. So that's the work we've been kind of doing, and we're hoping to expand it as we go.
That's really amazing. That's a great mission. And, for you to be doing this at this early age,
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're doing this, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell us about typically we talk about size and scale, but what I'm most curious to hear is the impact. Right?
Yeah.
How many schools, how many students have you reached, and the work you're looking at doing here in the next few months?
Yeah, so basically what happened was when we started reaching out to a bunch of schools, we realized that it's very difficult to start programs in schools, especially with all the work that administrators have. And so when we started a social media brand, we started on a campaign of really getting students the resources they need. And we're currently partnered with Claremont McKenna College, a top 25 accredited university, and a public debate program is a global-wide debate program that's established at Claremont McKenna University. And we've been working with them. And over the past, we started our social media brand in late 2022, so about October. And since then, we've accumulated nearly 1,000 followers.
Wow.
And we're continuing to expand. We're growing on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can visit us on Instagram at @debateforall_, and we have so many resources on there for students. Last year, we hosted a workshop series where we had over 30 kids attend, and we were able to impact so many students there. We've implemented and supported debate programs at 2 schools currently in California, in Southern California, and we're working with a number of schools in Central Asia and in South Asia to also establish programs there. So as we kind of go, we're hoping to increase our impact, and I think so far we've gotten so much positive feedback from so many students and parents telling us the workshops have helped them or the programs have helped them, and we've kind of seen it firsthand. So we're continuing to hopefully grow our impact. We want to impact as many students as possible. We've seen the benefits firsthand, and we know especially in less affluent communities or communities of people of color especially, helps them so much. So we want to continue growing our impact more than we already have.
Again, congratulations and kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
I can't imagine how many hours you have in your day to get all of this accomplished.
Not too many.
Having worked with a few schools and been in the university system, it's not easy to start something new. So that's really, I'm sure it took a lot of relentless effort on your part to get that done. So congrats again.
Thank you.
Now, having accomplished these landmarks, I want to know what's the biggest challenge you're facing?
Yeah, so I'll go back a little bit to what I talked about starting programs in schools. So beyond our social media platform, obviously, cranking out posts there, getting as many people to follow as possible, getting that impact out to as many students as possible. But on the starting the program level, that's where a lot of the impact comes down to, establishing a program that will be there for years and years to come. This isn't just a temporary program. Debate for All isn't something that we're doing just for a year or two. This is supposed to still have a long-lasting impact to continue this when I go to college, when my team goes to college and beyond. And so starting these programs is where we get to leave our long-lasting impact. And I think the biggest issue we faced is kind of non-responsiveness and reluctance, which is totally understandable for these administrators at these schools with so much on their plate to balance, especially, bouncing back from COVID. It's hard to add another extracurricular to their plate. But that is an issue we face. And so we have to find ways to kind of overcome that. And that's where we switched our narrative to, focusing on the awareness aspect or focusing on the social media aspect. But we are continuing to work with schools. And so it's kind of finding those contacts of talking to students and parents and getting their help to start programs rather than us going directly to administrators. So I think that that's the biggest struggle. We've sent out countless rounds of emails. We've probably sent over 1,000 emails to schools, teachers, PTOs, and we've done so many of that. And getting that non-responsiveness, it can be discouraging at first, but we just had to kind of shift our efforts to focusing on, parents and students and kind of finding more niche ways to get into those schools and encouraging these administrators to let us start these programs, because these programs are free. We start them with free, we start them help, we give the resource to them. And so on the school's part, it really does come down to it that we take on much of the burden. But to get them to adopt that burden in the first place and even let us come into the school, it is a difficult process. So I think just having to find more niche ways to get in there is basically what we're trying to do to tackle the issue.
Stay relentless.
Exactly.
Keep going at it. Now, on the flip side of challenges come opportunities. I want to hear from you, what's that most exciting thing that's, other than your, the thrills you seek outside, what's the most exciting thing you're looking at?
So I'll talk about this kind of at Debate for All and then on my own personal level. So I think the biggest success so far we've had is really just being able to grow our community so much. We went from having basically no followers in October to now having over 700. We're constantly growing to nearly 1,000. We just started a TikTok account and we're getting so many views on that. And really just think the feedback, getting to hear from so many students and parents that they really enjoyed our workshop series or that they just started a debate program at their school, or getting so many emails from students that be like, hey, can you help us out start a debate program at my school? Or especially international. I mean, we're working with schools in Kazakhstan and India and South Asia and Southeast Asia and so many schools across the globe. And getting to have those students come to us and ask us for help is probably the most gratifying thing we could possibly have. For us, it's not about the impact it has on us, it's about how can we help these students. And so knowing that so many students feel confident enough and believe in us enough to come to us and ask us for help really is probably the biggest success we've had so far. So I think I can speak on behalf of myself and my team that that's what we really look in this, and that's what we're in this for, putting in the hours each week to see, kids feel confident enough to come up to us and ask for help.
And I can vouch for that as a parent. Both my daughters attended the sessions you took, and we loved it, and so did they. So
I'm so glad to hear that.
That is awesome. Now, let's take a look back in time and talk about two things. One, that exceeded your own expectations and became a success beyond your imagination. And on the flip side, something that did not work out as you had expected
Right.
and was a failure and became a lesson.
Yeah. So I'll talk about this on a more personal level, because
Sure.
I think this applies to a lot of middle school and high school students in today's day and age. So again, I started high school during COVID, my freshman year, and I came into high school and I wanted to do everything and anything. I wanted to join every club on campus, be in as many classes as possible, every extracurricular possible. I basically wanted to be the jack of all trades. And as I kind of started freshman year and I tried to join as much as I could, I started to realize that rather than being, the king of every suit, I was essentially being the two of all the suits. And what I realized that I need to focus my energy into things that matter the most. And that's when I started, when I founded Debate for All, and I started putting my energy into so many extracurriculars. And so I think for me was that I realized that rather than give a little bit of you to everything, give all of you to certain things, the things that matter most to you. Rather than trying to be friends with every single person at my school, I focus on the people that mattered to me most. I focus on the extracurriculars that mattered the most, the ones that had the greatest impact and I could help the most amount of people. And I think that was where I kind of shifted my own narrative from trying to be this person that did everything and anything and not really doing them to the best extent, to focusing on what really, really mattered to me, to what was important to me, to the people that were important to me, and giving that my all.
Love that focus.
Thank you.
Now, let's transition to what I call my favorite part of the show, which is the one-line life lessons. Would love to hear a few from you.
So basically, again, on the kind of the line of debate, I think the first thing I would say is confidence is the key to success. I've realized that so many students have so much potential. They have so many skills going for them, so much going for them, and it's just really that lack of confidence that doesn't allow them to harness such skills. And that's part of the reason why I started Debate for All, to give students that voice, that confidence in themselves to be able to advocate for themselves and use those skills. And so I'd say that don't ever doubt yourself. You have so much to offer, even if it may seem like you don't, or even if you're in this hyper-competitive environment where everyone seems to have everyone going for them, you always have that one thing that's unique to you. And so you have to be confident in that and be able to harness that power in yourself to be able to succeed. Another one I would say is that public speaking and the ability to effectively communicate are the greatest skills you will ever learn. So you can have as many possible skills as possible. You could be the smartest person alive. But I've learned that you have to be able to effectively communicate that and be able to use those skills for the greater good. So to be able to get on a stage in front of hundreds of people, or even just to a group of 2 or 3 people, be able to say what's on your mind effectively, communicate those ideas so that other people can understand you. If you're saying it in such a way that no one really knows what you're saying, you're not going to be able to get any issue across. And I think that's what I've learned through years of debate, is that learning how to choose the right words at the right time, knowing how to say what you have to say, and learning how to harness your power and put that on a larger stage, be able to say that in front of other people, not be afraid to get your ideas out there, are the greatest skills I've ever learned. And I don't think anything I'll ever learn will be able to match up to those skills that I've learned at such a young age. And that's why I think we're really pushing to make sure so many of those students can harness those skills at such a young age.
Love it.
Yeah. I can give some more. I don't know.
Please.
I think another one I would say is don't forget what got you to where you are. So it's just because something's in your rearview mirror doesn't mean it wasn't part of the road that got you there. And I think that I myself as well, but I think so many of us forget to kind of look back and appreciate what got us to where we are. We are always so focused, looking out the windshield, looking at the road ahead of us. And while it's incredibly important to stay focused on the future, we have to take a moment to, stop, hit the brakes, look behind us and say, thank you to what got us here. Remember, be the person that got you there. Don't change so much that you can't, recognize who you were before. And I think that's something that even I struggle with today, just making sure to, take a second, take a deep breath, and stop, worrying so much about what's coming, what's always coming, and think about what I've done so far, what I've accomplished so far, how I got to where I am. And on that note, I have another one as well.
Sure.
That's kind of that I built over years, going through school, meeting so many different people, getting to talk to so many different people. And also in this age, I think a lot of teenagers face this. I know a lot of teenagers have this sort of identity crisis. And I think that the biggest thing I would say is that, be ferocious, but also be calm, be humble, but also be proud of yourself. There's really no such thing as an oxymoron when it comes to who you are. And you'll be one thing at one time, another thing at another time. In one stage of your life, you'll be someone, and the next day you might be a different person. And so you have to remember, I'd say, that no matter what your environment is, you don't have to make yourself fit in. You can be who you want, and you really don't have to fit into a mold of other person. Whether someone else tells you to be, whether they tell you to be one thing or another, tell you to be proud, tell you to be humble, you can kind of be what you want. Make your own mold, shape who you are. And I think for a lot of teenagers in this day and age, for me myself, I try to tell myself every day, be who you are. Don't try to fit a mold of other people. And that's probably the biggest advice I'd give to other teenagers, other people my age, is just be who you are. Don't try to force yourself into a box that other people have created for you. And don't be afraid to be multiple things at once.
Man,
That's what I'd say.
you have so much wisdom. Can you sign me up to your debate classes?
Yes, we'll be having some soon. So check out our Instagram. We have a lot of resources there.
Put me down as your number one student.
Will do. We'll put you at the top of the list for sure.
Done deal. Vishal, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it today.
Great to have you here. And again, congratulations and best wishes. You have some important things coming up. So good luck to that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.